If you're an Amazon seller that wants to put together a product video for your Amazon listing that's going to be very powerful and increase the conversion rate of your listing page, then keep watching this video because I got about 18 tips and strategies here that are going to, for sure, help you sell more of your product and take those people that are on the fence and just browsing, just casual shoppers, to becoming customers of yours, buying your product and potentially being able to buy other products that you offer in your product lineup. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So if this is the first video you've ever seen of mine, let me tell you who I am. My name is Ian Smith, and I run an Amazon marketing agency called Evolve Media. We work with a lot of Amazon sellers, and we help them with increasing their listings conversion rate, beefing up that on Amazon stuff, and then also off Amazon stuff, like external traffic, like email marketing management, Google ads, all that. So if you wanna book a free consulting call with me to take your listing to the next level as far as photo content, video content, copywriting, and overall optimizing your listing to sell more, then go to evolvemediaagency.com either now or after this video. Check out the services that we offer, and hopefully I'll be talking to you on a Zoom call soon. Next, if you don't want to jump on a call with me just yet and you want to get some free value and kind of see what are some of the strategies that we recommend for you, I recommend that you go to zonchecklist.com. We've got a very powerful Amazon listing checklist where we break down the different sections in an Amazon listing, and we basically give you sales strategies for every single section. So again, go to zonchecklist.com either now or after this video to get access to that. All right, so the first tip that I have for you when creating a product video is to clearly, this is a pretty obvious one, but have very bright lights, have a very high res camera, the highest res that you can get. I'm not telling you to go out and get a massive, expensive production budget and spend thousands on a video. You can do a lot of this with just a basic iPhone, one of the newer models preferably because they have really good cameras, but use the best quality camera that you have and get some good white lights. Next, you're gonna wanna show all different angles of the products, go in close, show close-ups, and also here's a little pro tip for you. If you shoot at a high frame rate, like 120 frames or even at 60 frames, and then you bring it into your editing software and the final video would be like 30 frames, you can actually slow down that high frame rate video and you can make it seem a lot more smoother. So if you're just doing it handheld and you're just going like this, at a high frame rate, you can slow it down and it just seems like a super smooth pan across your product. Now, when you're doing these shots, be sure to be very clear about what's included in the packaging, what exactly they're gonna get. So you wanna be careful with bringing in any kind of third-party props or showing anything in the video that they're not gonna necessarily get. And you wanna be clear in saying like batteries are not included if they're not included. So you just wanna make sure that you set the expectations correctly and accurately because this is gonna help you with your product return rate. So when you're doing these like pan arounds and close-ups, try to give them an idea of size and scale. Put something in there that they will for sure know the size of, like $1 or a quarter or something that everybody knows the size of, right? Or a person, right? Show it in somebody's hands so that they have an idea of how large this thing is, and then also obviously put in like actual dimensions, a little line or something saying this is 9 inches by 6 inches right here, so that they have an idea of how it's gonna actually sit. Also mocking up and showing a bit of a lifestyle video, putting it on the counter in the kitchen or something next to like other kitchen appliances will give them a good idea of like the size and how it's gonna overall blend in with their kitchen, for example, if it's a kitchen product. Then you wanna include some kind of demonstration aspect to it, showing them how to work it, how to set it up, how to turn it on, and how to get it going. Now, if you're shooting this video yourself, you probably don't have to worry too much about this, but if you're hiring a production company, it may be a concern, but you don't wanna go super duper polished with the end result. Yes, I know it's gonna look really great, but sometimes when people see high production value videos or super polished stuff, it loses trust. They think, oh, the defects are hidden, they're hiding defects, they're trying to make it seem way better than it really is. So I really recommend to you, when you shoot it yourself or even with a production company, try to be as accurate as possible and don't go super polished with it. Don't go heavy on the editing, right? Just try to make a somewhat basic video because they're just trying to get an idea of what is this product like? Am I gonna like it? Because you wanna set the expectations correctly. If they get it and it was super polished in your video, then they get it and it's not so great, you're gonna have a return on your hands and nobody wants returns. Think about it like when you go to a fast food restaurant, right? Their pictures on their menu are like, you're never gonna get a burger that looks like that. It's insane to me that like that's legal. That like you can literally go to a fast food restaurant, look at a picture, they show you all these pictures of their menu and it's just complete lies because the burger that you get is nowhere near like that. So don't be like that. Another little thing that I'll recommend to you is go to your competitors' listings, look through their bad reviews, look through their customer questions and answers, especially if you're new and you don't have those on your own, but address those FAQs, frequently asked questions, those concerns that you're seeing other people mentioning on your competitors' listings, and address that in your video to overcome those on the front end. Because if you overcome those concerns, then they're not going to be on the fence much longer. They're just going to jump off and they're going to buy your product. So you want to make sure you address all the concerns, check all the boxes that are in the shopper's mind when they're looking at your Amazon listing page. Now, if your product is complex and it has a bit of an installation process, like a desk or something they got to build, then I highly recommend you either include in your main video a quick setup, an instructional how-to video on how to actually build it and set it up and get it going, or I recommend having a completely separate video because it may be lengthy, right? It may be like 5 to 10 minutes just for an instructional how-to video. So you definitely want to have some kind of how-to instructional video so that it's very easy for them to follow the instructions, get it done correctly, and not have to reach out to customer support, not have to leave you a bad review, and stuff like that. So something else to make sure that you include in this video is people. People resonate with people. If people see, and shoppers see people using your product, they see how it fits on them, they see what, colors look good with other colors and how it matches up in different lineups, it's going to resonate better with them and build that relationship, trust, credibility, and overall sell your product. So if it's possible, hire those models, hire the actors, get your product on people being used by people, and show people in your video. Don't just have white background, mock-ups, things like that. People are going to definitely help you sell your product. So if you're wanting somebody like me on camera talking about your product, showing close-ups, I can definitely help you out. Head over to evolvemediaagency.com to book a call with me and we can talk about the review style videos that we make for a lot of Amazon sellers. Next, you want to give expert tips and insider information to how to maintain the product and overall store the product. The product needs to be stored at X temperatures, right? So give that insight, it should only be cleaned with this type of chemical, or avoid putting it here and don't do, give them insider advice, kind of like disclaimers, so that they don't have a bad experience with it, right? So that you can reduce your product return rate and so you can increase the amount of positive reviews that you're getting. Being transparent is super duper crucial in you getting better reviews for your listing. Next, I highly recommend that you include some kind of comparison table or comparison against the other competitors. Don't mention the brand names of those competitors because that's a no-no, but saying something like, compared to the leading competitor, our materials are much better, or we manufacture in the US by Amish people, or something like that. So setting yourself apart from the competition is going to be very, very key to your success because, as you know, Amazon is becoming more and more competitive. There are so many sellers for every little product, so you gotta set yourself apart from them. Don't mention their name though. Don't call them out too much. Set yourself apart in a respectful way. All right, so one of the most important pieces of advice I can give to you is pre-plan and come up with a script, come up with a storyboard. You gotta put some pre-planning into it and thinking aheadness into making a video, because you don't want to have all of the camera crew and have people out there, have a model there, and you haven't done enough pre-planning. So I highly recommend storyboard it out, invest the time, money, and effort into testing things before the camera's rolling, because if you mess up while the camera's rolling, that could cost you a whole lot of money when you could have just done some testing before everybody was watching. All right, this next tip is for somebody shooting the video on their own, all right, that is not doing some high value production company, right? You're just shooting it at your house, in your kitchen. I highly recommend with your video, make your audio quality as high resolution as possible. People can watch a low resolution video as long as the audio is sounding good. But if I had really bad audio right now, you probably wouldn't make it past 2 or 3 minutes because it's just so annoying. So you gotta make sure that your audio quality is really good. Sometimes it may even be helpful to shoot all the video first and then do all your audio afterwards, recording it like with your cell phone, because iPhones actually have a really good quality microphone. So sometimes recording the voiceover after you've shot all the video clips or after the complete video edit is done is the best way to go. Now, near the end of the editing process, when you're almost done with your video, I highly recommend that you include captions in your video. A lot of people these days watch videos on mute. They may be in an area where they can't play the sound, maybe it's late at night and they're next to their significant other and they can't play the sound. So I highly recommend put captions, subtitles in your video at the very end so that you don't have to go back and redo things, but put captions in your video because that's gonna greatly increase the amount of information that they consume and retain and understand when watching your video. You know, not everybody speaks English or whatever language you may be making your video in, so sometimes subtitles really help with helping them understand what your video is talking about. Also, be sure not to mention any kind of promotions, pricing, or anything related to like an offer in your video because Amazon's not too fond of that. Lastly, to wrap this up, a couple of tech specs for you. The video must be in at least 1080p. It must be smaller than 5 gigabytes as far as the file size. And as far as the actual file type, I'd recommend MP4. There's a lot of them out there, and Amazon does take multiple file types, but MP4 is just accepted everywhere. It's probably gonna work best with your computer, so when you're exporting it out, just go with MP4. All right, so that wraps up all the tips that I had for you. I know it's a lot, and I'm just throwing it all out there. So I definitely recommend watching this video again, taking some notes, maybe do some pre-planning before you shoot your video. You know, sometimes it's best to just shoot it yourself without dropping thousands of dollars and hiring a production company, right? Not saying that like you shouldn't hire us. Me and my team can definitely get you a video for only a few hundred or a couple $100s, so it's not like breaking the bank. Our videos are a little bit different where they're more like review style or overall talking about the product, but I definitely recommend take a swing at it yourself, try to make the video yourself. Worst case, you know, you learn from it, but I guarantee you're probably gonna be able to use that video footage on your listing because it's always better to have something that's okay and mediocre versus nothing, okay? So also I should have mentioned that in order to have a video on your listing, you gotta be brand registered. I'm sure you already know that, but thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you got some value from it, and I'll catch you in the next one.